Welcome to Out of the Blue, the podcast, where we explore those unexpected, life altering moments that break us open, wake us up, and remind us that transformation can happen in the most impossible places. I'm your host, Vernon West, joined by my son and co host, Vernon West III, artist, musician, and the creative heart behind our show's look and sound. Today's guest is a man whose life is a testament to resilience, reinvention, and the healing power of creation. We're honored to welcome Ashshahid Muhammad, Staten Island artist, mentor, filmmaker, author, and founder of Graffiti University Comics. Ashshahid's story begins in South Memphis, a childhood surrounded by crime, addiction, and survival long before he was old enough to understand the cost. By 21, he had been shot in the head, lost vision in one eye, battled homelessness and addiction, and carried the kind of trauma that would break most people. But here's where his out of the blue moment appears, not as a miracle from above, but as a pencil in his hand. Art became his lifeline, creation became his therapy, and that spark grew into a mission. Today, Asha Shahid uses his lived experience, the raw truth, not the filtered version, to educate and protect young people through comic books, storytelling, mentorship, and a television show he created called One Eye Television. His books explore everything from real life consequences of street life to the importance of choosing the right friends. His new fictional project, North Park, expands his world even further, proving that creativity can build new universes from the ashes of old pain. He travels the five boroughs, giving youth the warnings he wishes he had been given. He brings honesty into classrooms, community centers, detention halls, and recovery spaces. And through every brushstroke and every word, he teaches one message: it's never too late to change your story. From the streets of Memphis to depression and addiction to becoming a force for healing in Staten Island, Asha Shahid's journey is exactly why we created this show. Because sometimes the most powerful redemption stories don't come from fame or fortune, they come from ordinary people choosing extraordinary courage. So today, we're going deep into the making of a mentor, the rise of an artist, and the truth behind a man who refuses to let the streets have the last word. Ashshahid Muhammad, welcome to Out of the Blue, the podcast.
How you doing, man? I like that intro, man. I want to use that intro. That was
You
I ain't never
can,
heard it.
you can have
Hey, I
that.
never heard it like that before.
Well, that's you, man. You earned every
He'll
word.
send you he'll
Uh,
send you the transcript.
Okay,
I'll do that.
yeah,
Yeah, no
I
problem.
need that. How y'all doing? How y'all doing, man? Glad to be here with y'all, man. Glad to
Yeah,
be
it's a
here.
blessing to have you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Thanks for
yeah,
joining.
yeah.
Yeah, we're really blessed by this. This is a great thing. Obviously, the first question we always start with is how it all started. Where this whole journey, where did it begin? I'd like to know where did that spark come out of the blue to you to do what you did? I know the stuff that led up to it. You might want to say that too, but get to that. What started this major mission that you have really going?
Well, what started, you mean like the transformation of my life?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
got
all
all
right.
that.
So, like most people know my story is like I grew up in the Memphis streets, selling crack, running the streets, doing everything a person in the streets would do, right?
Right,
And but at some point in that season of my life, I became a big time drug dealer. So I was a drug dealer where I had an identity. Like I knew what it felt like to have. I mean, I don't know. I can't say if it was righteous pride, but I knew what it was like to have dignity and
right.
morals,
I
and
see.
I
Yeah.
knew what it was like to control something. What was in so many words.
Hmm.
But once I got shot and I lost my right eye and I began to do drugs and became homeless. See now all that voice I had at first, the control that I had, the dignity, all that was taken away. And I had no voice because people that's homeless in the streets or people that's on drugs, they don't have a voice.
Right.
You know,
Mm.
people look at them and see that was, you asked what started the transformation was, or that spark was the person that I was at first to compare it to this homeless person. You ever seen that movie Trading Places
Yep.
with
Yep.
Eddie Murphy them?
Oh yeah.
You
Love
remember
it.
when the guy that was the person Eddie Murphy traded places with?
Right.
You remember he became homeless. He couldn't believe it. He
Right.
couldn't believe that his life that he once had was gone. And it was like me. I was like, as for me, I remember waking up outside, like in a whole nother city, whole nother state. I don't know nobody, but I remember like sleeping in other cities in other states. And a lot of times I used to be like, this can't be real. But it was so real that it seemed fake. And that's another thing that helped that my life, another thing that kind of sparked it real hard was because I began to start to experience, even when I lost my eye, right? When I lost my eye, it was so real. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
saying one day I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna wake up out of
Oh,
this, but it wasn't no
Whoa.
dream. You
I
understand?
yeah, I so understand. This exact thing happened to me when I got leukemia.
Yeah,
I had been they put me on full life support at one point, right?
yeah,
And it was like I won't even get into that trip. But when I was finally out of life support and I was in this emergency place or a critical care unit of some kind, I had nurses all around me all the time. One nurse came in one day and said, "Oh, Vernon, your mother died." And I thought it was fake. I did
mm,
not even think it was.
yeah,
He got to be. This
yeah,
got to be a put on of some kind.
yeah,
But it
yeah,
was real. I did find
yeah,
out it was real. But I know that exact feeling. It did not seem real. It could not be
yeah,
real. It was absolutely fake in every way, shape, or form
yeah.
until it wasn't.
Yeah, so and see that's what I'm saying. Like when it came down to me, like I said, I'm in a soup line. I'm in a rehab. I'm in like my 20th rehab. You understand? Like so now I'm like, yo, I remember a lot of I'm talking about many a times I remember sitting in a rehab and I would be looking out the window, right? And I seen the world just living their lives. And I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
and my life was like on pause. And I'm like, you don't even know how to live out there. You know how to, see, I knew how to go to a rehab or a shelter. I knew how to go there when I ain't have no more money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I knew how to go there and and do good. I'm talking about, but when it was time to say it's time to go out there and be a man, see, I was terrified because see, I got shot when I was 21. So everything that I knew how to do before I got shot, like I knew how to hustle crack. I knew how to make money like that way. But once I started using, it was like Superman, the kryptonite. You understand? The
Yeah. Yeah.
drugs was like kryptonite. So I couldn't sell drugs no more. So I had no skills. I had no way to survive out there in that world. Everything was like everything was just falling on me as well. But I kept going in and out of shelters and rehabs for years. But I would hear the message. I would see, but all this is the experience and the pain. See, you asking me how it sparked. See,
Yep.
it had to be enough pain. See, that pain it became so great. The pain, it was so, like I said, it was so real.
Right.
I just couldn't believe that, bro, you sleeping outside. The cargo trains,
Yep.
not the
Yeah.
subway trains, the
The cargo.
cargo
Oh, I
train.
know freight trains. I know 'em.
I
Yep.
used to jump those trains to go out of town. Now, when the train go out of the
Freight yard. Is it usually
when they
one of the?
go out of the city,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
goes it goes so fast.
Oh yeah.
Like you got now, I'm not inside the now mind you, I'm not inside the cargo.
Oh, you're
I'm
not
in
in there.
I'm in between them.
Oh no, that's
So I'm
tough.
holding on. I'm holding on. So I did this like 2 or 3 times until I broke my foot. You
Oh
see what I'm
boy.
saying?
Yeah.
Mm.
And And
Dang.
yeah. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is this. You asked me, it took a lot of pain. It
Ah,
took a lot of experiences of that pain. It took a lot of relapsing. That was another one. It took because see, I usually, like I said, I would get clean 6 months, 2 years, 2 years, 3 years, 10 months. I would go in and get clean. But like I said, it was when like when they in recovery, they tell you suffer from a disease. See, it was hard for me to grasp that
right,
at first. Because I was like, "What you mean?" Because I thought, I see where I come from. If you fat, I mean, you healthy eating, you got a nice haircut, you got money, you got a nice outfit on, you got money, you got a car, you good.
right,
But
right,
see, that ain't got nothing to do with what I suffer from. The
right,
the the
Mm.
the addiction. You see what I'm saying? See, that's where it was fooling me at. It's
yeah,
where I didn't know that ain't nothing gotta be going wrong. When that John said, let's go get high, I would go get high. Nothing was going wrong in my life. You see what I'm saying? Because some people say, what was going on where you having a bad day? No, nothing didn't have to be going wrong. So that's why I began to really pay attention in recovery. Like I said, once I began to get in the rooms, I said, you know what? Because I know how to share. I know how to talk real good,
yeah,
sound
right,
real
right.
good.
Oh
The
no, I
good,
know
you
that. Yeah,
understand, the real good recovering. Because I used to be like the big book.
yeah.
I used to highlight it. My
Oh, me
big book,
too.
it used to look so. Listen, the big book, my big book looked like the golden book.
Yeah,
It
right.
had, it was highlighted and so you understand the
Yeah,
line like
I think that's part
Oh
of the
yeah.
disease because everybody, I myself, I was so great at telling everybody how, oh, I'm the best person in recovery.
yes,
I can take sponsors. I can sponsor people. I
yeah,
got it, man. But you know
yeah.
what? I'm a good liar. I'm a good bullshitter.
Yeah.
I
So
can,
that's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
was saying. You asked me, see, all that took that. You see what I'm saying? It took all that the walking with the big book in my hand to the meeting. You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
dude.
All that. It took all that to cause see how you end back up in the drug house. How did you end up selling everything out your place? How did you end back up in the hospital? With all this good you good sharing. Yeah, this is what it's telling me.
Right.
You good sharing, not practicing what you preach. It was just and that's when I realized that you it's something really wrong with you. It's
That's like the
something,
moment of truth
yes,
and out of the blue moment for sure, because it comes unexpectedly and hits you like a bolt of lightning, right? When that moment comes
yeah.
and you say, I don't get it. Why am I? And you suddenly realize you hit that point. So yeah, I'm hearing it right now. And you go ahead, tell us about what happened next.
Okay, so like I said, I got shot when I was 21. From age 21 all the way up to maybe 36, 37.
You were fighting it. Yep.
I was going from state to state,
Right.
you know, because see, for one, it's embarrassing. Like if you grew up in a city, right? You go to school with people and stuff. See, it's more devastating to you if you see people that you grew up, let them see you in that condition.
I
So that
hear
was
you.
one of the reasons why I went to another city because I didn't want because mind you, I was a drug dealer, money, cars. So imagine seeing somebody you going to school with and you a bum that you went to school with, a girl you used to have a crush on, or a girl you used to like, or you went with. Now she see you a bum. You turned out to be a bum.
Right.
So, like you asked me, all this is the pressure that broke that something inside me said, I give up. I
Yeah.
surrender.
I
That's what they say
surrendered.
in real. I surrender.
Exactly. You surrendered.
So
Yep.
so when I was going to all these cities, I would meet all types of people,
Mhm.
like homeless people, people in recovery, uh, but at the same time, in my homelessness, I would see artists, street artists, creating art. You see what I'm saying? So that's when I began to, because I knew I had an art skill, because I used to do graffiti when I was young on walls, and I used to draw when I was in school. So when I would travel in my homelessness, or like when I was in a rehab or jail, people would ask me to draw something for them. That's how I was able to get extra money for like commissary and stuff in jails, or like if I was in a rehab, I could draw to get cigarettes when I was smoking. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So
Yep.
so um so I began to draw with my art and be on the streets. And when I was going through a lot of pain, or when I used drugs for 5, 6 days, no sleep, just so when I finally get a clear head, I would have my portfolio. Now I got a portfolio with me where I would draw. So the drawing kind of helped me, not my mind talking to me. You see what I'm
Oh,
saying?
so
Yeah.
beautiful. This
Yeah.
is so
So
beautiful.
yeah. So my mind, like, you ain't nothing. You ain't shit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to draw, it would help me like distract that voice. And
Yeah.
and I began to go, like I said, I would begin to go around different artists. So now I began to see different art, because like I said, I would go to big cities like Philadelphia, Washington D.C., New York, Atlanta. So I would see all types of different artists and art on the walls and stuff. So the times that I would be like clean a little while, I would go around the art world, and and I would pick up on new art, and then like sometime I would be like in a rehab, and they would say art is like therapy. So that's why I picked up the knowledge on I can use the art to vent. It's just like how they say
Absolutely.
you need to talk to somebody. You need to talk about your problem. So what I learned to do is all the feelings that I have, I learned to like channel it into art. My anger, madness, sad, even my happiness, my joys. So I learned to turn it there, and I began to feel better about my life. You see what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I
And
do. What a soul you have, man. It's
yeah,
powerful. It is
yeah,
powerful. You don't know. I think you do know. You're starting to know.
yeah,
If you didn't
yeah,
already,
yeah.
you
Okay.
have something very special. God wants you to be where you are right now, and even more. You're going to be doing a lot with that talent, because that's a
Yeah,
gift. That's something from a higher power, man. That's you can't.
yeah,
You didn't. We don't. I did probably the same with music. So does Vernon.
yeah.
We use music for the same thing.
Yeah, that's if you music, I know you love it, because that's, like I said, that's what I began to realize, that because I would see homeless people drawing. I would see them drawing, and it would be times I'd be using drugs. See, the drugs would I couldn't draw. See, that's one thing my higher power creator wouldn't let me do. He wouldn't let me use drugs, because I used to see artists, they was doing drugs. They would draw to hustle to get money to get high.
Right, right.
See, I couldn't do that. That's
So,
how I knew God had a veil over that. He wouldn't let me,
it's
because
very,
because see, when I get high, ain't no drawing.
yeah,
You you
this is so interesting. I got
you
to
see what I'm
say,
saying?
I can
So I
relate to
would
Oh
this.
yeah.
say, yeah. So I
You-
went,
I
nah,
got to
I
tell you,
want.
right? I got to
Go
tell you,
ahead.
I used to when I was rolling, man. My band was huge at the time. I had a huge platform, a lot of people listening. I would go back to home and I'd say, I'm going to get some drugs. I'm going to get high. I'm going to write some really good songs. And
Yeah,
never fucking
yeah,
happens. Not
nah,
once. No matter how much I would go home all psyched from a show, and I got my little packet of what I'm going to do. And I get there and I get all whatever. And then I go, wait a minute. What was I writing? I don't know. I couldn't do it. There's
yeah.
no way the higher God will not let us use our
Nah,
talents when
nah.
they're
That's how I
underage.
knew it was a gift, because, like I said, I witnessed people sitting in the drug house drawing to get money, to
Right.
get high. And I couldn't, for no, I'm talking about, and I was way better than these artists. I was way better. But I knew for a fact, if I put something in me, ain't no drawing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a testament to where the inspiration is coming from too, because you
Yeah.
channeled your like soul in order to create and start like thriving as an artist. And so when it's like when you take the drug, you have to like turn off a part of that thing that channels the inspiration to create in the first place.
Yeah,
So it
Yeah.
does they don't align.
nah. Nah,
Uh,
and
th-
yeah, so like I said, it wasn't just no one thing that happened. It was a process, just like a process in recovery. It was a process because see, like I said, when I grew up, I was a bad kid. I stayed in the principal's office getting whoopings. Back then, they used to get palins on the butt or suspensions, board suspension, home suspension. I stayed getting all those, so I was already a tornado. You see what I'm saying? Going through, I was already that person. But see, like I said, when I got shot, see, I used to go to jail a lot, right? So I would get out and go back to the streets. But see, when I lost my eye, right, it was like it took something, man. It that took a limb. You see what I'm saying? It's like
yeah,
you got two hands, right? And then one day you wake up, you got one. You see what I'm saying? So it's
right.
like now you got that took some from me. So it was more depth. But here's the catch to this, right? At age 49, right? The more I go back and look at my life and create art, write comic books about my life, I realize that me losing my eye now 20 some years ago, you couldn't tell me this. But today I know that if I wouldn't have lost my eye, I wouldn't be who I am today. If I wouldn't have lost my eye, I wouldn't be drawing art. I wouldn't have a soft heart. I'm gonna put it to you like that. See, me losing my eye got me in tune with getting high with a homeless person. And they telling me their story that they used to have dreams and goals. You understand? I'm around people that they ain't got no drug problem. They just so terrified of life, they just went into a deep depression and they just stuck out there in the world in a zone. You ever seen homeless people there where they just you know they ain't on drugs, but you wonder what happened to them. And but see, I got a chance to sit with these people, sleep beside these people, and understand that it's some people out here really suffering in life, man. It's some
Yeah,
people really like something happened to them. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, well, with me, like I said, me losing my eye, bro, is like it was a painful road, but that pain and them memories and them scars of all those faces and places and alleys and bandit houses and forests and swamps and trees and because I was everywhere. You understand? When you're on drugs, see when I was on drugs, it took me, it didn't say you gonna stay here. That joint said, go where I went into deep, dark places, man. You understand? I went into, like I said, bandit houses, like swamps. You know what swamps like areas where people don't go, like those trains. So those trains that go out of town, right? That those
re-
cargo, they go to places where cars, where people don't even can't even get to. You
right.
understand? They be
Yep.
up in mountains and they would stop like at certain like when they would go out of the cities, they would stop like in wooded areas where you see no roads, no trees, no nothing, just pure land, and they would sit for like 5 to 6, 7 hours, ain't moving, and I would hear wolves. You
Whoa.
understand? You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Whoa.
Like,
Yep.
so what I'm trying to get you to understand, you ask me what everything I just described,
Yep.
that's what happened, man. That
Yeah.
that was the the you ever seen a rebellious person that just so rebellious? Cause see, I love the streets. You
I
know when
get
you
you.
love something so
Hmm.
much, it gotta hurt real bad for you to let it go. That was the lifestyle of the streets. See, I guess the creator said he gotta be broken all the way down to
Oh
the
boy.
core. You see what I'm saying?
I
Because
do.
because see, I love the streets. I'm talking about you ever see like that? Like I think in the big book it said cuts with a double-edged sword. Don't the
Yep.
big book say something like that?
Oh, yes,
It
it does. Yeah.
it cut one way, like it feels so good. You understand?
Yeah.
It feels so that the lifestyle or the high so good that you don't even care if you suffer or die. That's where I was at.
That's what
You
happens.
see,
Yeah.
you see when people walk in the streets late night, they've been out there for 20 years, never come to recovery. They've never been to recovery. They just out there. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand is that the pain was so bad.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's definitely, I think that's such a clear picture of what addiction really is. And,
Yes.
the beautiful thing, your soul, your connection to your higher power has made you saw not only that in that darkness, you saw the light.
Yes.
In losing one eye, you grew way more of, you could see better. It
Yes.
almost like made the eye that was left super
Yes.
powerful. You've got powers now. And so now we're at the point you've seen that you've now you're in program and now you're getting it. And then
Uh-huh.
you start your career. Let's hear about that
All right.
wonderful story.
All right. So here's how I got into that, right? I was on one of those trains. Remember, I told you I broke my foot, right?
Yep.
So when the train stopped, I couldn't walk because my foot had. Because see, when I ran and jumped the train, I grabbed it. See, sometimes the train can be going and you grab it, it'll yank you. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it
yeah.
yanked me and it drug my foot. So when I finally pulled up on it, and like a couple of hours later, the train stopped and the dude got out the caboose. He was just walking, I guess he was checking the train. And my foot was hurting so bad. So I just told him. So he came and got me, they took me to the hospital. So now I'm in the hospital and they took me to a psych ward. I'm in a psych ward, right? And so this is now I'm somewhere in Missouri. I'm somewhere in Missouri. So I don't know where I'm at in life. You see what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't know where I'm at. So
Geographically and spiritually.
yeah, so they took me to this site hospital, a big old, it was a real big, it was big. So
Yep.
that's
Yep.
all I remember. I was in there and it was like once I stayed, I think I stayed maybe a week or two or something like that. And they was like, where you going? So I was like, a shelter. So they sent me to a shelter in Nashville, right? I'm in Nashville shelter. Got a boot on my leg, the boot. So I'm in there. So mind you, all this stuff that I've been going through in life, I'm asking myself, man, ain't you tired? See when you're in a shelter, you see homelessness, you see people getting high, you see people. It's like it's like a prison to be real.
Yeah.
Shelter is like a prison to me. So I'm there. So now, but it was another shelter, it was a better place, better looking shelter right across from it that you can get in programs. They help you with a lot of resources. So I would go over there and they had a drug program over there. So they was like, you can get in the program. So I got in the program. So I was in the program for a while and they was asking me, what do you want to do with your life? I said, man, I want to go to school. I was just saying something, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying
Yeah.
to get out the
Well, of
cold
course, you're
because
doing
in
the
the
thing we
shelter,
always do. We know
yeah,
how to
I'm just
talk, man.
talking. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So because in the shelter, you got to go out early in the morning, like 5, 6 in the morning. They put you out, you only come back so many hours. But over there in the other shelter, you can go over there and they don't put you out in the morning. So that's one of the reasons why I was over there. The main reason, I'm gonna put it like that, because it's cold outside. I'm trying to find a bed. So I'm telling them I want to go to school, get me a place. I'm just talking, the
Yeah.
regular talk. But in reality, once my foot healed and stuff, I started going to GED class, right? I'm in this GED class. I ain't been to school in a long time. I dropped out young. So I'm in this school and trying to take the pre-GED test. I think I failed the pre-GED test 2 times. So by this time, I'm not in the ship rehab no more. I got a room. I'm renting a room out. So I quit going to the GED class. So I'm working with this guy in recovery. He had recovery houses. So that's where I was at. I was like in a recovery house. So
Sure.
I would work with him, like cutting trees and stuff like that. So I stopped going to the GED class. So I get a phone call. It was a private call. And I looked at the phone. I said, man, I ain't gonna answer this phone because I normally don't answer private numbers.
Right,
So
right.
I answered it. And it was my teacher. She was like, where you at? Where you been? It's been like a month. I said, she was like, come back to the school. And I was like, now mind, the only reason my mind told me this. Oh, she must like me.
Yeah,
You understand?
I
So,
do.
cause she was a good looking woman.
I hear
So I
you.
said, oh, she liked me. Oh, I'm coming back. That was the only reason. I
I
said, I'm
bet.
coming back next week. So I get up there. They asked me, she asked me, why you drop out? I said, because when we taking this GED test, y'all timing us and timing me. Now, mind, I'm a drug addict. I mean, I don't want nothing that wrestle my brain. And I said, look, I don't, it's too hard. I said, man, these questions, because in the GED, you ask like social studies and science questions. Like, how I'm gonna know this, man? You understand? I'm coming from doing drugs, jails, and institutions, and here it is, you asking me some scientific, not even that, some of those math questions, like if he traveled from New York to California, how many hours and how many seconds. They was asking all these type of questions. If it was an hour delay, how much longer would it take? I'm like, yo, listen. So the woman, long story short, the woman told me, she said, I'm gonna teach you how to take a test. She said, now mind you, it's multiple choice. She said, I want you to read the question. She said, look at all the questions, the answers that you know for sure ain't the answer. And the ones that you think is the answer, she said, eliminate the ones you don't, that you know that ain't the right one. And she said, the ones that you think, take your best shot. So I started doing it, right? So she said, go take the GED test. Now, mind the GED test, 7 hours long. So you had to go one day, 3.5, and the next day, 3.5. So I went and took the test, right? Boom, boom. So it took 2 weeks for the test to come back. So 2 weeks went by, I get a phone call. Lady said, may I speak to Muhammad? I said, this him. She said, just wanted to let you know you passed the test, and hung the phone up.
Awesome.
Now listen, my
Right.
my addict mind said she called the wrong Muhammad. You see what I'm saying?
Of
So I
course.
called because I couldn't believe that I passed.
Right.
So I called the number. It was busy. I drove up there. I said, I need proof. I need because see me, I'm an addict. You can't because I just didn't believe that woman. I didn't even believe myself. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
It's you
Because
that you didn't believe, right?
so I went to the place. She printed it off. And I remember crying, man. I remember outside I was crying. I'm talking about not no tears. I'm talking about crying.
I know what you mean.
Because all this stuff that I just told you that I went through, right? To
Yeah,
get to this point, that what was going in my head.
of course.
Like all them drug rehabs, all but here's the catch though. What made me want to go back to school, right? I seen people in the rooms of recovery doing it. And they gave me hope that you can go back to school and be something that you always wanted to be.
Out of the Blue, the podcast, hosted by me, Vernon West, co-hosted by Vernon West III, edited by Joe Gallo, music and logo by Vernon West III. Have an out of the blue story of your own you'd like to share? Reach us at info@outoftheblue-thepodcast.org. Subscribe to Out of the Blue on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and on our website, outoftheblue-thepodcast.org. You can also check us out on Patreon for exclusive content.